been expecting you. I greet you, chosen of fate. Hermaeus Mora calls upon you to defend this world and all of reality. A secret contained for ages is now free. Where the once forgotten prince walks, disturbance and disorder follow. And that is how we will find her. A secretive and violent order called the Recollection scours ruins throughout the Weald. Strange Daedric creatures harry the region, and the wood elf King Nantharian reigns over a newly grown forest, a sure sign the threads of fate have frayed. The lines of possibility that weave through reality and hold everything together. Athelia, the Daedric Prince of Paths, has been set free. Her presence threatens both our world and the realms beyond. Help me meet this threat, and you will be rewarded. Let me mark your map. Frayed threads of fate point to Rustwall, the Ellenglin ruins, and Ostermere. And take this relic, the Echonir. You might find it useful. My friend Baragon offered his townhouse in Skingrad. Let us meet there when we are done. They are all within West Weald, not far from the city of Skingrad. Which location are you curious about? Rustwall Estate is an old Colovian manor to the southeast, on the outskirts of Skingrad. Why Rustwall is important, I cannot say. Yet the threads of fate have been disturbed there, and we need to determine the cause. I am not sure. That is why I asked you to investigate. Ostermere is a Colovian town in the Strid Vale, not far from the southern edge of the New Forest. I have heard stories about powerful groundquakes and enraged forest creatures in the area. The Valenwood Forest mysteriously expanded across the River Strid and replaced the previous Colovian terrain. The wood elves who settled the area call it Dawnwood. King Nantharian rules a new Bosmer realm beneath its thick canopy. Ellenglin is a substantial Ayleid ruin that lies north of Skingrad. A lonely and peaceful spot, or so I have been told. Yet the threads of fate simply vanish in the vicinity. A phenomenon I have never observed before. We must determine why. Recently, the vineyards of the southwest portion of the Weald were overgrown with a thick forest. Now wood elves led by King Nantharian have settled the city of Vashabar. So far these settlers have been peaceful, but Skingrad is concerned. Very good. I do not know what awaits you at Rustwall, but look for our ally Baragon at Ostermere. He mentioned he had business of his own there. As for Ellenglin, I will meet you there. I am quite curious to see those ruins. It is an appellation I did not choose for myself. In my youth, I became dissatisfied with the traditional education of an arcanist. I desired knowledge my instructors could not or would not provide me. So I struck a bargain with the one who knows. I thought you would be familiar with that sobriquet. Apologies. I refer to Hermaeus Mora, Daedric Prince of Forbidden Knowledge. I serve as his agent in the mortal world from time to time, in exchange for secrets I can learn nowhere else. Among other things, Mora taught me to perceive the threads of fate. It is a talent few mortals ever master. As for the rest, let us say I have seen things most mages and arcanists can barely imagine. That is why I am sometimes called the Wise. Mora imprisoned her and made everyone forget. She posed a danger to all reality. Her scion, Torvasad, restored the memory of her to the world, and she escaped from her prison. Now the Prince of Paths is loose and somewhere in West Weald. That is not an easy question to answer. Ethelia is a Daedric prince. No mortal can match her power without assistance, nor can Hermaeus Mora move against her while she walks our world. He is bound by the Cold Harbor Compact, while Ethelia is not. An ancient agreement that prevents many of the most powerful Daedric princes from directly manifesting on Nairn. Ethelia was imprisoned long before the deal was struck, so she and the Daedra that serve her are not party to its restrictions. Find her, observe her, discover her plans. Use the Echoneer to reveal her memories. Mora chose you and requested I assist you. He believes you can help preserve reality from Ethelia's threat, so we must trust that he shall guide us along the way. We know that Daedric relics such as the Echoneer were used to help defeat Ethelia in ancient times. Perhaps such items shall play a part again. For now, knowledge must be our weapon of choice, and our task is to arm ourselves as best we can.
Traveler, do you know what happened to the cohort at Rustwall? A moment, Traveler. A detachment of legionaries should be roaming the grounds of Rustwall. We came to meet them, but we can't find a soul. No legionaries, no servants, not even a gardener. I'm at a loss as to what has become of them. My commanding officer, Tribune Leia Idolus, sent a cohort to guard Rustwall. With the recent troubles plaguing the Weald, she didn't want to chance an enemy gaining a foothold this close to Skingrad. But we arrived to find not a single legionary. The Tribune and I didn't see any signs of combat. Just an empty courtyard. She ordered me to do one more sweep of the area and then report back to Skingrad, but I hate the idea of leaving her here alone. Will you aid Tribune Leia in her search? Look for Tribune Leia inside the walls of the estate, in the courtyard. Know that the Tribune can be somewhat demanding, but she's a fine officer, and I'm sure she'll pay you for any aid you provide. The Legion hires mercenaries all the time. Count Calantius of Skingrad owns the estate. Uses it when he needs a break from the politics of his court. I think he lets visiting dignitaries stay here, too. All I know for sure is that I was sent to meet the cohort here, but I can't find them. The Imperial Legion protected the Empire when there was still an Empire to protect. With those three pretenders fighting over the Ruby Throne in Cyrodiil, the Westweald Legion primarily defends Skingrad and its vassals. I'm proud to serve. The Tribune is one of our best officers. I've served with her since before Clivia Tharn took the throne. We mostly attend to local matters now, while her methods occasionally stray from standard Legion protocol. She always achieves results. The Legion thrives on order, hierarchy. That's what keeps it functioning among the chaos. Tribune Olea practices a looser approach on the battlefield. Never mind, it's inappropriate for me to criticize my tribune. To a stranger, no less.
Look around. No people. Strange, right? I detached an entire Legion cohort to guard this estate, but I haven't found a single legionary. Not even a servant. What's your story? Do you know what happened to my legionaries? I remember when the Legion didn't have to rely on mercenaries. Still, I'd appreciate the help. Until I find my cohort or the missing servants, I have to assume Skingrad's in danger. I can't abide that. Assist me, and I'll see you well paid. I hereby designate you a temporary agent of the Westweald Legion. Just until we find my soldiers. We'll search the manor house first. I'll meet you inside. Keep your eyes open, comrade. We don't know what happened here. Well, it's usually a lot more lively. When Count Calantius isn't in residence, or it isn't filled with visiting dignitaries, there's still the entire household staff. But so far, I haven't found a soul. No signs of a battle or struggle yet, either. Count Calantius governs Westweald from the city of Skingrad. He's a shrewd leader. When dignitaries visit Skingrad, the Count offers them use of the Rustwall Manor House. It's the Count's way of... oh, how did he put it? Encouraging positive outcomes? I sent my Legion cohort here. The best soldiers in the Weald. The estate's proximity to the city makes it strategically important. I wanted to make sure we weren't surprised from this direction. But something happened here. We need to find out what. I suppose introductions are in order. I am Tribune Alea Idolus of the Westweald Legion, Marshal to Count Calantius, daughter of Quatrius Idolus, Knight of Colovia. A mouthful, I know, but I enjoy reciting my entire pedigree from time to time. Faithful service to the Legion, plus a strong sword arm. I fought in Varen's rebellion and defended Colovia as the Usurper War broke out. After we won the battle for Northhook, I started moving up the ranks. Now here I am. It happened at the start of the Usurper War. The Daggerfall Covenant sought Northhook as a base from which to invade Imperial City. We didn't want them there. When my commander fell, I took charge. Eventually, we repelled the invaders. When the Usurper War began, the Legion sent me to defend our borders. Colovia has no love for those grasping to be Emperor. We didn't want to get dragged into the conflict. Count Calantius heard about my exploits and brought me into his service. In addition to my duties as a Legion Tribune, I perform special missions for the Count. Right now, I'm looking into the various troubles plaguing the Weald. Rumors of cults and Daedra roaming the countryside, whatever's going on in the New Forest. It was the damnedest thing. In a flash, the rolling hills and vineyards were replaced by a thick jungle. And then those wood elves moved in and established the city of Vashabar. You can imagine why the Count is concerned. My father. He was a successful merchant, but I barely remember him. He died when I was very young. He left me a great deal of gold so I could study and make something of myself. I'm grateful for that. When I was of age, I joined the Legion. Seems everyone left in a hurry. Take a look around. Someone attacked the servant this belonged to. Servants light this when there's danger, to warn others away. The captain planned to hide, but where? We need to find Captain Laronis. Meet me at the barracks on the south side of the estate. Back here, comrade. I found Captain Laronis. What a loss. I found that letter clutched in his hand. The servants are hiding in the catacombs. Let's talk. The bloody clothes and the warning candle suggest someone or something attacked Rustwall. And we know Captain Laronis was working on a plan. I hope to find him alive, but the letter from the groundskeeper tells us more than we knew before. Not as grim as it sounds. The Count ordered the catacombs converted into a shelter a while back. He wanted a place for anyone in residence to hide should war sweep over Colovia. Let's hope the rest of the cohort and the servants are safe and secure. Groundskeeper Gaius is a tough old hedge snipper. We need to find him and get his key to open the catacombs. Then we can see how much of the cohort and household staff survived whatever happened here. Let's check Gaius's home first. Groundskeeper Gaius's home is just down the hill to the east. Whether he's there or not, we need to find that key. We fought side by side at North Hook. He was brave, but never foolish. Always took every engagement seriously. A lot of soldiers would be dead right now if not for him. When I received command of the cohort, I requested he join me. About 3 rungs on the command ladder hierarchy. I lead the cohort, but Captain Laronis usually served as our field commander. While I handled strategy and logistics details, he oversaw the forces on the ground. Whatever killed him. Gaius? Are you here? It's Tribune Alea.
Tribune?
Thank the Divines. Are they gone?
Who, Gaius? Who attacked Rustwall?
I'm glad to see Tribune Alea, but she certainly took her sweet time. We've had all sorts of problems here. Did you bring reinforcements? Captain Laronis sent the remaining legionaries and staff into the catacombs. Then he was going to call for help. Dead? Damn shame. He was tolerable as far as Legion officers go. He had a good plan, too. While he hid everyone who was left in the catacombs, I was to keep watch until help arrived. I even stashed the key in a safe place in case the enemy found me. It had to be some sort of enemy army, but all I ever saw were a few wood elves sneaking around the grounds. We need to let everyone in the catacombs know it's safe to come out. Can you go retrieve the key and take care of that? I stashed the key inside the old statue in the garden. Don't worry, I'll draw you a map. Just be careful wandering in the garden. We've had an infestation of odd bugs recently. Odd and dangerous. When the legionaries showed up, we felt a lot safer. A little security in these troubled times. Then, one by one, soldiers started disappearing. We weren't sure if they were deserting or what. Then, I found the bloody legionary armor. Captain Laronis suspected an enemy was picking the cohort off one by one. He expected a full-scale attack, so he sent the staff into the catacombs with the remaining legionaries to protect them. I hid here until you and the Tribune showed up. Other than the wood elves I spotted sneaking around, we never saw the enemy. And the only evidence of foul play was the bloody armor I found. Captain Laronis assumed it was brigands looking to rob the estate. But would brigands challenge a cohort? I've been supervising the outdoor staff since Leovic was a cub. Gardeners, masons, they all answer to me. No easy job, especially when we're all frightened out of our wits. I know Rustwall inside and out. Made it easy to find a spot to hide my key.
Grab the map and let's go. We need that key. The gardens are just east of here, down the hill. The Rustwall Gardens. Our map indicates a spot on the western side. These insects, they're from deep underground. What drove them to the surface? There. That's the statue marked on the map. Search for the hidden key. That's the key. Now let's go open the catacombs. The door is across from the barracks. find my cohort. Look, down there.
Still no sign of the escaped legionary, Shard Marshal.
No matter. More of our forces will come through soon.
As you say, Shard Marshal Vargas, we have more than enough weapons now.
That wood elf, he's with the Recollection. And he's taking orders from a Dremora? What's going on here? This furniture was meant for the comfort of dignitaries who took refuge here, not for these Recollection bastards. By my sword, a legionary. Report, soldier.
Hate to bring bad news to the Tribune, but I'm the only member of the cohort left. Those Recollection zealots killed legionaries guarding the estate until we sent whoever remained down here. That's when we walked right into the Daedra's clutches. I got lucky. I fell behind to adjust a loose bootstrap. When I heard the attack start, I slipped into the shadows and have been running ever since. Look, the Daedra have a portal. They're filling the catacombs with Daedric forces to attack Skingrad. It's in the ruins, down in the deepest part of the catacombs. Two magical anchor things keep it open. Tribune Alea is strong, and you look like you can handle yourself. While the Recollection hunts me, you need to destroy that portal. Go east, and you'll find where the Daedra dug up from below. Drop down, and keep going east. You'll know the portal when you see it. Break those anchors, and I bet the portal closes. I'll try and lead the Recollection away, and then find you down there. I've become pretty good at sneaking around down here. There are all sorts of secret passageways and trick walls. You just have to know where to look. Don't wait for me, though. I have to move slow to avoid the Recollection patrols in the Daedra. Almost positive. The Recollection swarmed the remaining cohort and the servants we were protecting. They worked fast. It was a slaughter. I'm lucky I lagged behind, or they would have fallen on me too. I managed to pull a few servants away, but they weren't soldiers. No one trained them for any of this. I can't blame them for making too much noise, or being too slow with the blade. I tried to keep them safe, but it wasn't long before I was on my own. Call it a hunch, but if I'm being honest, I have no idea what it will do. It might fling you right into oblivion, or turn you into a netch. The anchors seemed important. At the very least, destroying them is better than leaving them be.
Legionary Capio is right. We need to shut down that portal. Down into the ruins. We've got to close that portal. Capio said the Daedric portal was to the east. They're certainly older than the structures above. An old mine.
The portal! Destroy the anchors, comrade! Defend the anchors! Maintain the portal! The anchors! That closed the portal. Good work.
Colovians have grown familiar with conflict. These last few years hardened us. We'll deal with whatever trouble comes our way.
the new forest worries me. Nothing natural ever grew that quickly.
It's those wood elves. Valenwood is trying to annex territory that is rightfully ours.
Over here, comrade. Let's talk. My cohort almost completely destroyed. The Rustwall staff almost all dead. Even Shard Marshal Vargas managed to slip from our grasp. While we closed the portal and saved Skingrad, it feels like we failed, comrade. The threads of fate? That sounds ominous. But after what we saw down there, I'll keep an open mind. We learned that the Recollection Cult is working with Daedra and taking orders from Shard Marshal Vargas. They got damn close to invading Skingrad. With the portal closed and the Daedra on the run, the remaining Recollection forces aren't enough to threaten Skingrad. But I'll get the Legion to send more soldiers, just in case. Here, the pay I promised. The Legion always makes good on its debts. Consider your temporary commission suspended, comrade. Though I'd love to have you permanently assigned to my cohort. I plan to continue to look into the Recollection and Shard Marshal Vargas. I hear there's a wood elf in Skingrad doing the same. I'll send for more legionaries to clear them out. As many as we can spare. With the portal closed and Shard Marshal Vargas on the run, they shouldn't pose too much of a problem. That's up to Count Calantius. I'll advise him to keep legionaries at the estate even when no dignitaries are present. Problem is, we don't have many left to allocate here. The Legion isn't what it once was. What with the Empire in disarray.
I'm grateful to you and Tribune Alea. Those Recollection soldiers would have found me eventually. Only so many places to hide down there. You're quite impressive for not being part of the Legion. I think I could learn a thing or two from you.
No. We must get this right before our performance. Oh, sorry. Probably not the best idea to sneak up on someone juggling knives. Especially sneaking up on one rehearsing for their debut performance in Skingrad. Yes! We three are the Burning Wild Band. Because I found these two in the wild, and, well, I'm a bit singed myself around the edges. Sorry. Anyway, we'll perform in Skingrad soon before Count Calantius himself. You can be my first critic. First off, I need to determine what I should be doing. Then we can figure out the assignments for Lady Sawera, my pig, and Sir Klauser, the badger. Lend me a critical eye, and tell me what you think works best. One option is that I dazzle folks with my sword juggling. It's a big crowd pleaser, but I've noticed it makes the animals nervous. The other option is I dance. And dance, and dance. Not as exciting as swords, but the animals enjoy it more. All right, let me begin. This dance took me weeks to master. Isn't it stunning? Now, time to refine Lady Sawera's performance. Come speak to me. Next, we have to figure out what our precious Lady Sawera is doing. So, Lady Sawera has been trained to walk in elegant circles around Sir Klauser and me. The question is, should she start in the front or in the rear? Sounds good. All right, Lady Sawera. Begin your routine from the front. And finally, Sir Klauser takes his cue. Please, tell me your thoughts. Finally, it's Sir Klauser's turn. He's a funny little badger, and mostly likes to roll around in the dirt. For his part of the performance, he remains in place as I perform around him. He can either pretend to be asleep, or he can be more active, pretending to eat bugs from a tree. Which do you think is more tantalizing? Then it shall be so. Sir Klauser, show us your fabulous acting ability. Now this will be wonderful. Let us redouble our efforts and practice fervently now. Thank you for all your advice, friend.
Please help! It's all destroyed! Did you feel it, Traveler? The ground shook so hard that what remained of our poor village crumbled around me. I could still hear my neighbors cry as the roof fell on her. I'm sorry, it's just all too much. Ostermere. It used to be lovely. Then that horrid jungle sprang out of nowhere and drove us out. Did you feel it, traveler? The ground shook so hard that what remained of our poor village crumbled around me. I can still hear my neighbor's cry as the roof fell on her. I'm sorry, it's just all too much. Ostermere. It used to be lovely. Then that horrid jungle sprang out of nowhere and drove us out. We wanted to reclaim our homes, but I don't see that happening now. Not with so many dead. Oh, I do hope that nice wood elf found more survivors. Baragon. He came to Ostermere looking for his friend. Greenspeaker Sorlin, I believe he said her name was. After the disaster, he didn't hesitate to help. You should join him. He's looking for survivors and could use a hand. You'll find Baragon on the road outside Ostermere, just to the north of the village. He built a small camp for the survivors. Tell him I sent you. And any aid you can give will be appreciated, traveler. It's rare to find much kindness in this world. I watched our little village grow from a few tents to actual structures. It was a beautiful place. And then the forest suddenly grew up around us, trees and vegetation bursting through the paved streets and displacing buildings. We fled in terror. No, the forest sprang up months ago. Some of us decided to return, try to reclaim our village from this unnatural jungle. It was going well, too. Then the ground started to shake, and what was left of Ostermere started falling down around us. I'm not sure. I was hurt by debris. Then I just started walking. I stopped here to rest. Then you stopped by. Ostermere truly belongs to this jungle now. But maybe you can help any survivors? You and that nice Baragon.
I pray you aren't another rogue come to take what's left. Julianus be praised. A friendly face. It seems the roads are far more dangerous than I was led to believe. We stopped to enjoy the breeze when a crazed brigand came out of nowhere and robbed us. One masked brigand and a pack of horrid beasts as she commanded. Frau Gotha did everything she could to protect me, bless her heart. But the thief made off with my entire dowry. Now I haven't a napkin ring to present to my future bride. She disappeared into the nearby Firelight Cave. Adventurer, if you can recover my 4 dowry bundles, I promise to make it worth your while. Every scrap of silk and muddied jewel could save me from becoming the laughingstock of Skingrad. It took years to negotiate a fair dowry for the Verdullis family's eldest daughter. To come this close to a life of leisure, only for some flea-infested scoundrel to dash my dreams? Please, search Firelight for my dowry. I beg of you. They are a very powerful mercantile family, and any misstep could spell disaster for my marriage proposal. It's been a grueling year of negotiations between our families. Would you believe I haven't even met my bride-to-be? Absurd, I know, but it's almost more romantic. The tidal forces of commerce leaving us marooned on the shores of love. We've written each other, of course. And beneath the polite formalities, I do believe Immoral nurtures a spark of love for me. That's hardly a reason not to get married. My parents built a lumber empire despite hating each other. Of course, without my dowry, none of this matters. Not to press, but Even a small portion returned could save my marriage. Please, find what you can of my dowry and I'll compensate you handsomely.
And be wary of the Theriker. They aren't to be trifled with.
Rest easy, friend. You there! Let's help these people! I'm glad you happened by. This woman will be fine, but there's plenty more injured in what's left of the village of Ostamir. Maybe you could help me find them. The ground could shake again at any moment. We need to hurry and save whoever we can. Greenspeaker Sorelin sent me a letter. Asked me to meet her here. After I arrived, the ground rumbled like an angry timber mammoth. Whole buildings collapsed, trapping people. When the new forest appeared, it damaged the village. This may end it. Apparently, a few months back, what was once rolling hills and rich Colovian farmland was suddenly engulfed by this great forest. Look, help me rescue more Ostamir survivors. Then we can find Sorelin. I can toss you some coin for your efforts. Inside the village, listen for any calls for help. People could be buried under rubble or trapped inside collapsed buildings. Just watch out for the strange beasts. They appeared after the ground shook. And keep an eye out for Greenspeaker Sorelin. Keep your ears open. Follow any shouts for help.
Help! I can't get out! The door's blocked!
Clear the rubble!
Thank the eight. I thought that was my grave.
My sister's trapped! We need help!
It hurts so much, sister. I know, little bug. Please, help me move this. Thank you. I'm never coming back here.
Creatures only exist in the Dawnwall. They look so strange.
The vines won't let me go!
Thanks! Even the plants want to kill me.
You're safe now. Go join your family.
Sorelin, you're alive!
Baragon! Oh. Who's your friend? I had no idea the ground would shake so violently when I asked Baragon to meet me here. Nature is nothing if not unpredictable. I also didn't expect him to bring a guest. So, who are you, friend of Baragon? Helping people in dangerous situations sounds just like Baragon. Can't fault him for accepting help. I asked him to join me in Ostermere because I found something amazing, miraculous even. He needs to see it for himself. No. The only way Baragon can understand this discovery is by experiencing it himself. How about we all see it together? It's down in the Iliad ruins nearby. I'll show you both. It truly is remarkable. Baragon's an old friend. He'll appreciate my discovery. I hope you do as well. The ruins are to the southeast of the village. Meet me outside the entrance when you finish helping survivors. I can't wait for Baragon to see what I found. In addition to being a green speaker, I study Iliads and the history of the Wild Elves for the University of Gwylem. The nearby ruins called out to me the moment I noticed them. And what I discovered... No, you really must see it. Why wouldn't I be? All Bosmer can trace their lineage directly to the ancient Iliads. Well, almost all. This history surprises many people and can be controversial, but my research definitively shows that we're the inheritors of that legacy. A disgusting bigotry toward Bosmer pervades scholars from other cultures. To them, we're not worthy of such a noble ancestry. But plainly, they're wrong. You should read my book. It contains all the evidence needed to persuade any doubter. Greenspeakers are a vital part of any Bosmer community, and I cherish my role. Shaping the green is an art. It involves merging my voice with the song of nature and guiding how things grow. We don't control nature. Instead, we have a conversation. Did Baragon tell you that? No, ordinary greenspeaking can't manipulate something as large as this new forest, and certainly not as fast as it appeared. Beyond that, I'd rather not speculate. It goes against my training as a researcher. We grew up together. He started on a path of warrior and hunter, while I trained as a greenspeaker. He had an interest in scholarly pursuits as well, and we bonded over shared studies. He became a good friend.
Sorrelin wants to meet at the ruins east of here. Let's go. Don't see Greenspeaker Sorrelin. Wait, a body on the ground. They're wearing recollection gear. Grab that note. Wildburn seed? Not sure what that could be, but the handwriting at the bottom, that's Sorrelin's. The handwriting at the bottom of the note is definitely Sorrelin's. Running into ruins alone is just like her. But I didn't expect the recollection to be here. She's heading into more danger than she realizes. I've never heard of a seed, but the Wood Elves of Vashabar use Wildburn to refer to the strange blight along the edge of the New Forest. Worry about that later. Let's focus on finding Greenspeaker Sorrelin before she runs afoul of the Recollection. The Recollection consists mostly of Wood Elves, fanatics to a cause I haven't quite pinned down yet. If there are more of them in there, we'll probably need to fight. Come on, let's head into the ruins and find Greenspeaker Sorrelin. Rustwall? That's too close to Skingrad for comfort. What were they doing there? And I've heard of Tribune Alea. She commands a Legion cohort and handles special tasks for Count Calantius. If she fought the Recollection, I should look her up. Daedra? Oh, that's not good. Now it's even more imperative I figure out exactly who the Recollection is, and what their goals are. Maybe we can learn something in these ruins. Just that it's what the Wood Elves of Vashabar call the narrow band of devastation that runs along the northern edge of the New Forest. It separates the rest of Westweald from Dawnwood. I'm not sure what a Wildburn seed is, but I plan to find out. Some sort of cult made up mostly of disgruntled Wood Elves. Seems to have a connection to the ancient Aelids, but I don't have all the details yet. That's why I am out here adventuring again. I want to figure out who they are and what they're up to. Those vines, that's the entrance to the ruins. Sorrelin's up ahead. What's she looking at?
Do you feel it, Baragon? The grandeur of our history!
You're right. These ruins are incredible.
Do you feel it? The power of the Aelids pervades this place. Millennia separate us from the Heartland High Elves, but I can feel their legacy flowing through my blood. It pains me to see their glory buried in these ruins. This was all for Baragon's benefit. You're just an unintended spectator. I brought Baragon here to remind him of his Aeliad heritage. The Recollection remembers their past. This land belonged to the Aelids, and we Bosmer are their rightful heirs. Not at all, but some of their beliefs match my own. All that aside, I wanted to show Baragon what I found. A new type of seed. It's similar to what we Greenspeakers use to grow and shape tree villages, but different. It thrums with unique potential. Bugshells! Surprise ruined! I wanted to show him the Wildburn seed. Talk to him. Discuss the Recollection, both the good points and the bad. I suppose he'll want to take the seed before the Recollection does. I suggest you hurry. They're close. The Wildburn seed grows deep in the ruins. I suggest we split up. I'll lead the Recollection on a merry chase while you and Baragon find the seed. And don't worry, I'm sure we'll meet up along the way. And Baragon, remember your history. This style of architecture dates back to the late Merethic era. It combines majesty with practicality, so probably a place for Daedra worship and training. These Aelids seem to have been particularly fond of someone they called the Prince of Paths. As I said, I plan to keep some of their attention on me instead of you. After that, well, I'm very stealthy. I have no doubt I can elude their patrols. And if I do get into trouble, I'm sure you and Baragon will come to my rescue.
These ruins are pretty amazing. If we weren't battling Recollection forces and trying to beat them to the Wildburn Seed, I'd love to just explore them. Some people find the weight of history to be crushing. I find it exhilarating. An old conversation we used to have. Maybe you'd call it an argument. We need to learn from history, but it doesn't necessarily define us. I'm no more an Aeliad just because they might have been my ancestors than a Redguard is a Yokudin. Exactly what Sorelin suggests. We need to find it and keep it out of the hands of the Recollection. If it's somehow connected to the creation of this new forest and the area of devastation, we can't let them get a hold of it. Let's get moving. Greenspeaker Sorelin, up on the walkway.
See, Baragon? The Colovians built atop our heritage! They buried it all!
That's how it works, Sorelin. The new replaces the old.
I thought I could convince you that we'd find the Wildburn Seed together.
What? Sorelin, come back! These ruins are pretty amazing. She's up on the ledge.
Join me, Baragon. The Recollection needs wood elves like you. We can finally claim our rightful inheritance.
You're with the Recollection? Cracked acorns, what are you thinking? Follow her! Blight and root rot! How could Sorelin join the Recollection? They're murderers! doors. Let's try there. We need to find that seed. Sorrelin, talk to me! I can't let you take that seed!
I won't fight you, Baragon. There are other seeds than these.
I'll go after her. Grab the seed and follow after me! Spilled blood and displaced families aren't justice!
We've been friends forever! Why won't you trust me?
The Recollection destroyed this village! Who knows what other harm the rapid growth caused?
I thought you'd understand! I thought you had vision! Goodbye, Baragon!
No, Sorrelin, wait! I couldn't catch her. I've known Sorrelin for almost my whole life. I cared about her, considered her a friend, perhaps more. Why didn't I see that she had been taken in by the Recollection? Maybe I could have done something. Blight, this hurts. She always claimed Ayleid land belonged to the Wood Elves, but that was purely academic before. Sounds like the Recollection promised to make it real. Could be why they wanted the Wildburn seed. Speaking of which, did you get it? I've never seen a seed like this before. It feels wrong. You're working with Laramil, right? She needs to know what we discovered here. Meet us back in Skingrad. I have a townhouse there. Oh, and take this. You more than deserve it for helping me. Sure, my lifelong friend joined a violent cult, but you and I actually did some real good today. We saved people in Ostermere and kept this seed away from the Recollection. When you're ready, meet Laramil and me at my townhouse in Skingrad. I'm not sure. They certainly spout rhetoric that matches many of her closely held beliefs. I thought those beliefs were simply musings, but the Recollection seeks to put them into deadly practice. Be sure, when next we meet, I plan to ask her why. I have little experience with either, so any speculation is merely a guess. If Ostermere was truly the epicenter of the new forest growth, the land there could simply be unstable. Or perhaps Ifrei shook the ground to warn us and get our attention.
Proxy. Let us speak before we go inside. This is Ellenglyn, an Ayleid ruin. I expected to find the recollection here, as they have been searching similar ruins throughout the area. They did not disappoint. I sense an aura of Daedric power as well. Perhaps that aura drew them here. Indeed. I sense an ancient Daedric shrine in these ruins, although I have no idea which prince it honors. If we find the shrine, we may uncover the recollection's purpose here. Do you still have the Econir, Proxy? Hermaeus Mora forged the Econir to reveal memories related to Athelia. It was one of the relics instrumental in defeating the Forgotten Prince and eliminating any lingering memories. Hopefully the Econir can help us in our investigations. The Econir causes memories pertaining to Athelia to become visible as nebulous manifestations. When you discover one, simply hold forth the Econir. The relic makes the memory unfold before your eyes. I foresee that you will need it, Proxy. Between the recollection and the dangers inherent in most ruins, I suggest caution. My research revealed that Ellenglyn contains a maze filled with deadly traps. We must reach the heart of the maze to find a way through. I am ready when you are. Ellenglyn, an Ayleid ruin, most likely a temple or monastery. As you can see, little remains above ground. The vaults below are more extensive, or so I have read. Adventurers report dangerous monsters and traps within. Those who survived, anyway. If I sense the presence of Daedric power, the recollection likely noticed it as well. Recollection made it this far, but they have met some of Ellenglyn's dangers. Feel the current of fate flow through you. Welkin stones. Ayleids were fascinated with the magic of light, but this is not what we seek. Let us press on. The threads of fate reveal nothing to me. I cannot perceive them here. But the Daedric power I sensed outside is even stronger now. I am sure there must be a shrine below. We must press on. There, the maze is below. The way to Ellenglin's shrine lies through the heart of the maze. Let's face renew your vigor, Foxy. Not only a maze, but a tomb. Careful. The Aliens were practitioners of necromancy. Should be the hub. The currents of fate shall revitalize. The heart of the maze. A locked gate. We must find the key, Proxy. Many threads of The key must unlock these gates. Let us continue, Proxy. I sense that what we seek lies somewhere to the south. We found the shrine. But who is... Oh, that is Athelia. Perhaps you can talk to her, Proxy.
I do not recognize you, yet you seem familiar. Almost like this shrine. I know I should remember it, but I do not. Tell me, what is this place? Why am I drawn here? A Daedric prince. Yes, I remember. That was what mortals called me. But Ellenglyn is a proud citadel, not a crumbling ruin. Its people are wise and beautiful. They worship me. Wait. I sense something. And another memory. Hermaeus Mora. The Echenir. Yes, that is what the Abyssal Cephaliarch called it. A clever little device he wrought to find and remove things that belonged to me. Thoughts, memories, truths he did not want anyone to know. Show me. I wish to see what it reveals.
All of existence.
You let your fear control you and foresee an apocalypse that will never be. Depart, Mora!
Athelia disappeared as soon as the memory ended. Let us speak outside. Let us review what we saw in the ruins, Proxy. Now it becomes clear. The recollection also seeks Athelia. They hope to find her visiting places she once knew, just as we did. Yet Athelia seems confused. I do not think she has fully regained her memories or truly understands what happened to her. I believe we witnessed the moment Hermaeus Mora first confronted Athelia about the danger she posed to reality. And we saw that she refused to heed him. It is a hard thing for any creature to change its nature, especially for a Daedric prince. We examined the locations where the threads of fate were most frayed, and learned more about Athelia and the Recollection. Let us next rendezvous at Baragon's townhouse in Skingrad. I wish to consult with him about our discoveries.
You're impossible. Though, a hot meal might be nice.
The new forest worries me. Nothing natural ever grew that quickly.
It's those wood elves. Valenwood is trying to annex territory that is rightfully ours.
Maybe. But the Wood Elves of Vashabar claim their intentions are peaceful. A forest springs out of nowhere and covers a third of the Weald and no one does anything? What's the Legion waiting for? An all-out attack on the city?
Welcome to my townhouse, friends. I can't wait to hear the results of your investigations. I can't believe we found a corrupted seed at Ostermere. That the Recollection somehow caused the new forest to overgrow Westweald. Or that my friend Sorelin was involved. Laramil wants to talk to you, but I'd like to hear what else you discovered. An invasion launched from Rustwall Estate would have taken Skingrad completely by surprise. I'm glad that you and the Tribune were there to stop them. But the Recollection working with Daedra? That's a troubling new development. By reputation, we only just met. I know she does troubleshooting for Count Calantius, so I figured I might run into her eventually. She apparently heard about me too. Just showed up on my doorstep. You learn anything else out there? Athelia, the Daedric prince you and Laramil are looking for? You met her? Incredible! But why is the Recollection looking for her? Didn't they... never mind. I think you should talk to Laramil now. I need to consider all this.
Our initial investigations are complete, Proxy. Let us speak. Encountering a material confirmation of... that is, I thought it would take longer for us to find and confront Athelia in person. We determined that my suspicions about the frayed fates proved correct. Each location had a connection to Athelia. That the Recollection and the Miramor Daedra seek to restore Athelia to power. They cause the New Forest and Wildburn devastation. And Athelia wanders Westweald, starting to remember. For helping me reach these conclusions, take this reward. Speak with Baragon. See if he has a thought about our next steps. Athelia's presence untethers all consequences. It makes it nearly impossible for me to perceive the threads of fate, let alone determine which threads to follow. Most people do not bear the responsibility of preserving reality itself. If we guess wrong about what we must do, or simply fail to do it, disaster ensues. I do not like to leave such decisions to chance when the stakes are so high. Trust in Baragon's knowledge of the recollection. There is an anomaly I wish to look into while you and he pursue the cultists and ferret out their plans. Perhaps the Wildburn seed you found in Ostermere is the place to start. I shall find you later.
I've been thinking about Ostermere and your investigations with Laramil and Tribune Alea. The recollection was involved each time. We need to determine what they're planning next. Maybe the Wildburn seed we found in Ostermere can help us do that. I'm not a green speaker or a spinner, but I know a corrupted seed when I see one. If we can trace it to its source, I think we can find the recollection. Luckily, there are experts on this sort of thing close by, in the wood elf town of Vashabar. Bosmer who honor the green wouldn't have anything to do with a Wildburn seed. But I want to show the seed we recovered to a green speaker. If they can tell us more about it, it might lead us right to the recollection. Help me, and I'll pay your way. Here, just to be safe, you should carry the Wildburn seed. Greenspeaker Derelith in Vashabar should be able to tell us something about it. Just follow the Gold Road into Dawnwood and turn north. Tribune Alea and I will meet you there. I know, it's too much. During my adventuring days, I helped a wealthy Colovian family. They rewarded me with the deed to a grand old empty townhouse. I had enough gold to make this place livable, and it seemed a waste not to use it. I've lived all over Tamriel, and Skingrad is a nice enough city. Always something happening here, and we get news from across the continent. It wasn't until recently that the people of Westweald started looking askance at wood elves. Since the appearance of the new forest, what the Bosmer of Vashabar called Dawnwood, the rest of Westweald has grown nervous and suspicious of all wood elves. I've lived here for years, but suddenly I'm an outsider. Things could get ugly. Yes, I'm confused by that as well. Green speakers are mages who work within the Green Pact to shape the forest to meet their needs. Every wood elf village has a green speaker to grow new pod homes or shape useful tools. It's an art my people cherish. You saw what I saw at Ostermere. My old friend Soraline has lost her way. If she had a hand in the use of Wildburn seeds, then she's turned her back on the Green Pact. I'm not sure she can do that and still call herself a green speaker.
I don't know if it's a good idea to take that seed to Vashabar. We could be handing it right back to the Recollection. Who knows how many friends they have there. Not exactly. While he agreed to spare a few legionaries to patrol the area, he's reluctant to assign more troops there on a permanent basis. Not after I lost an entire cohort. He ordered me to continue my investigation, though, so here I am. When we learned that the Recollection was working with Daedra at Rustwall, it seemed my clearest path forward was to find an expert. Retired adventurer, former Imperial scribe, Recollection scholar. I probably should have visited Baragon sooner. They both showed up in Westweald around the same time. Oh, I don't think every wood elf in Vashabar is a member of the Recollection, but some must be. It doesn't help that they occupy a new forest that appeared on land that doesn't belong to them. Sure, the new forest sprang up in a part of Westweald that was mostly wild and uninhabited, but it's still part of the province. No one in Vashabar swears allegiance to Count Calantius. What's he supposed to make of that? I'm not concerned about lines on a map. People are getting hurt. The devastated area at the border of the forest is ruining farms and spawning dangerous beasts, not to mention the attacks by the Recollection. Someone needs to answer for all this.